Hi, I'm Mark Westcott. I just want to invite you and welcome you to a session in our Live Complete series. Today I'd like to talk about the issue of a 40-person future. So maybe a new idea for you, but imagine if you could look at your future and say, okay, I just want to try and limit the time I spend with people to 40 really important people. That is, 40 people who are future thinking, people who are a great opportunity for me to move forward with, and 40 people that if I spent time with them, I would have a much greater future than I potentially could do if I was to continue to occasionally get trapped in with negative people, toxic relationships, and just hanging out basically with the wrong types of people. I mean, we've all heard the adage that you are the average of the five people you spend the most time with. So, I think that statistic in itself says something. Do you think consciously about the sort of people that you hang out with, people you're spending most of your time with, and are they a great influence and creating great opportunities in your life for you? So we talk about this whole concept of a 40-person future, and that is that if you had the workbook in front of you, I'd say, okay, write down 20 people straight away. 10 personal, 10 professional. Some are going to cross over, and that's fine too. Your family's obviously going to be one of them, but just try and list down 10 people from a personal point of view that are really positive, constructive and valuable in your life, 10 people from a professional point of view, and then I'd write down a list of another 10 people who are people maybe you've met once or twice, you don't know all that well, but they're people you'd really like to get to know, and they'd be really valuable to get to know. And the fourth lot of 10, to bring it up to the 40-person future, is I'm just going to leave that blank today, and I think they're going to be aspirational people for you to think about who you might be able to communicate with in the future. Who are the people that will really lift you up to the next level and subsequent levels in regard to the future that you'd want for yourself? Now, there's a couple of parts to this, because people will always say, and I know you're probably thinking now, but what about people that I've been friends with for 100 years and I can't just go and dump them and not be friends with them anymore? Well, I just have this thing that it's okay to squeeze out bad behavior, it's okay to squeeze out bad habits in life, and it's okay to push to the side people that aren't necessarily positive relationships in your life as well. I mean, limit the amount of time is the practical way, and eventually if you're spending all your time with people that you really want to be part of your future, then those that don't fit into that mold are probably going to fall by the wayside anyway. And so I'd take you back actually and ask you the question: the mates you had in grade 1 and grade 2 at school, do you still hang out with them? Maybe one, maybe two, you still see from time to time. But as we evolve through life and we reach different stages in life, we tend to gravitate towards the people that we want to work with, we want to hang out with, we want to socialise with, and people naturally that we see that we'd like to have a future with. Now, as I said, there's kind of two parts to this, and the first, the two couple of dangers are, first, learning the power of saying no. In other words, the danger is saying yes to everybody. And I know people like this, and they're always busy. They've always got too much to do. They're always trying to please everyone, and the way to get through that is the power of saying no. And the second danger, which I'll come back to as well, is the batteries included. Are you finding the people you're hanging out with have got batteries included, or are they batteries not included? And I'll go a little deeper into that in a moment. But the whole concept of the power of saying no is an interesting one, and I've had some recent experience on this, and that is, a friend of mine who's just always caught up in saying yes to everything, and subsequently, I guess you need to remember that every time you say yes to something today, it creates a future obligation, because when you agree to do something today, sometime in the future you're going to have to pay. You're going to have to allocate some time, resources, energy, effort, whatever, to make up, to pay for that obligation you've agreed to at the current time. And sadly, these are the nicest people in the world. The people that say yes all the time are just the nicest people in the world, and that's probably why people ask them for stuff all the time. But the more that happens, what happens is that they're just continually saying yes to things, and they're just getting a higher and higher pile of obligations for the future, and it becomes a mess for them. They become stressed, agitated, they can't make clear decisions in the future, they have trouble prioritising what's really important, and they're always reacting, and they're always at someone else's behest in regard to, where they're spending their time, and they're not necessarily they kind of just catch themselves up, and they're not going to have a future that they really desire because they're always working on someone else's agenda. So I think with the power of no, and the other side of the people that say yes all the time, you get to a point where it kind of becomes a maybe instead of a yes. So instead of offending people, these people say, well, yes, I'd like to, I'll really make my best effort, and maybe I'll be able to get there or whatever. And even in sales situation, in business situations, we all know people that say, look, Mark, give us a call back in a month, give us a call back in 2 months, maybe we'll do something then. And that's what they're really saying. So, the yes danger and the maybe danger, people would rather have a no. So there's a real power in saying no to things from both sides, from my side and from people I'm talking to. I would rather have a no than a maybe any day. Because with a maybe, there's about a 5% chance it's going to come through anyway. So I'd rather have a no than a maybe, because a maybe puts you in a holding pattern. A maybe puts you in a holding pattern. So there you are going round and round and round, for a flying analogy, and you're stuck in this holding pattern in a month's, and you're hoping it's all going to come true. So in a month's time, you're kind of hanging out, and you go back and you get another maybe. And this has happened before, hasn't it? So you get maybe, maybe, maybe. Truth is, I've been doing this a long time. Okay, there's about a 5% chance that any of those maybes are ever going to be turned into yeses. Give me a no any day, and I can get on with my life. Because once you have a no, you can then allocate your energy, your purpose, and so on towards new projects, new ideas, new opportunities, new people, new relationships, and so on. No gives you freedom. No gives you freedom to move on and to allocate the time in a way that you'd like to. If you accept maybes, you're just wasting time, energy, and resources. And it's really important to remember that all progress starts with telling the truth. So when someone gives you a maybe, just look them in the eye and say, I'd really rather have a no. Don't give me maybes. Tell me the truth. If you're really not that interested, or this is not something you want to commit to, or you want to set up energy for in the future, give me a no now. Don't sort of have me hanging out. Now, the other side that I wanted to talk about was in regard to the batteries included, batteries not included. You've all had the Christmas presents, haven't you? Where you get home and the kids unwrap everything, and of course, there's the brand new toy, and it's just inert because it just sits there. There's no batteries included, and there's nothing you can do with it. And on the other hand, you buy stuff, you go and buy some equipment or whatever, and it says on the box batteries included. And so when you get home, the batteries are included, and the thing works straight away, and it provides something for you. It provides a resource, a capability, or whatever for you. But the thing without batteries just tends to drain you of energy. So people with batteries not included are like plumbers. And I don't mean that in a bad way to plumbers. It's like they drain you. People with batteries not included drain you because what they're doing is they don't have any energy, they don't have any resources or resourcefulness, and so what they're doing is they're coming to you to get their energy. So, you become the energy source of the person with batteries not included, whereas the person with batteries included, they come to you and they're full of vibrant energy and so on, and they're forward thinking, they want to contribute and so on, whereas the batteries not included people are really trying to drain you of energy. And what happens very much is that people who are batteries not included are very past-based people. They're past-based people, and in a lot of ways too, sometimes they may be just hero worshipping you. They kind of come along and they're getting their energy by hanging around you and draining of you. So it depletes you, and it's of no value to you whatsoever. Whereas people with the batteries included are your future people. So, when we talk about this, your 40-person future, you want to be looking, obviously, and this will become self-evident, is you want to look for people that have got batteries included. People who come with their own energy, their capability, their resources, and so on. Focus on those people, spend your time with those people, and don't waste your time with the batteries not included people, because there's a correlation, and you're probably going to see it here. There's a correlation between what I've been talking about with people that say yes all the time and the batteries not included. Not that the yes saying people don't have batteries, it's that batteries not included people get attracted to yes people. Okay, so if you're likely to say yes to people all the time, you're just going to attract like a swarm of flies these people that are just going to drain you of energy. So my summary of all this is look towards creating for yourself a 40-person future. 20 right now that are kind of existing friends, relationships and so on that are most valuable to you, and write down why they're valuable to you, but also write down, and this is the most important thing, what are you doing for them to make sure you create value for them. Okay, make sure it's not just a one-way street. Make sure you're creating value for those people, okay, in reciprocation for the value that they create you. It may be in different ways, may not be as tangible, whatever, but just make sure there's a balance between giving and receiving. Okay, so create your initial list of 20, personal and professional. Then look at 10 people you'd really like to get to know better, people that will give you greater opportunities, people with huge batteries included, and people that are going to be a great resource and opportunity for you. And then as a strategy, think about what you can do for those people before you expect anything in return for them. Always give before you receive, and always ask questions before you tell people how good you are. Make sure you ask enough questions to prove the value that you bring to the table. And remember, the final 10 is going to be for the future. They're going to be huge multipliers for you, huge opportunities. I'm Mark Westcott. Thanks for your time today. Thanks for listening in regard to the 40-person future. And just remember the power of saying no. Thanks for your time.